Hello friends, welcome to Wow IS. This is the 10th edition of the April 2023 current affairs. In this we are going to cover social issues. Now before moving to the first article, I just want to tell you about our initiative. In this initiative, we are going to provide you Vision monthly magazine summaries from April 2023 to February 2024 at a very nominal price of 599 rupees. The summary will be not more than 50 pages. That is one third of the total length of the Vision magazine. Along with it, you will be provided video lectures also that I am giving you right now. So there will be video lectures also along with this, along with the summary magazine that you will be getting. To subscribe in it, you have to scan this QR code and you have to pay 599 rupees and send that payment slip to us through wowindiais@gmail.com. Or you can use the link that is provided under this video to subscribing for the first edition of this magazine that is free for all. So I hope you have understood it. Now let's move on to the news for today. Now the first article we have is in the social issues is National Curriculum Framework for School Education NCFSE. In this Ministry of Education, it has released a pre-draft for this curriculum framework for public feedback. In this proposed National Curriculum Framework for School Education, its objective is to guide the development of textbook and curriculums in accordance with the National Education Policy. It was last revised in 2005 and on basis of this only your current NCRT textbooks have been prepared. So basically this National Curriculum Framework, it is mainly for designing the textbook that your NCRT books might be there or some other textbook might be there which will be designed basis on this of this curriculum only. National Curriculum Framework and National Education Policy 2020. National Education Policy provides a comprehensive framework to guide the development of education in the country. So National Education Policy, what is the objective? The objective is how the education in India is going to be developed. Now this National Education Policy, it says that 4 kinds of curriculum will be designed. So these 4 curriculums are National Curriculum for Early Childhood Care Education, then National Curriculum for School Education, Teacher Education and Adult Education. So these are the 4 national curriculums that have to be designed under National Education Policy. After that, Ministry of Education and National Council for Education, Research and Training, they are going to develop this curriculum. There is a National Steering Committee under the chairmanship of K. Kasturi Ranjan that was set up to undertake and guide the development of National Curriculum Framework. So which is the committee which is related with development of the National Curriculum Framework is K. Kasturi Rangan. This is important for you. This can be asked that which committee is responsible for development of National Curriculum Framework for school education or for any education in the country. Now this is going to cater to the age group of 3 to 18 years, this NCF, and a 4 stages has been designed in it. The first one is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. That is first 5 years, then next 3 years, next 3 years, then last 4 years curriculum. And it is going to provide a pedagogical restructuring of the school education as envisaged in the National Education Policy. Now this National Curriculum Framework for Early Childhood Care and Education. Early Childhood Care का मतलब क्या हुआ? What is the meaning of this early childhood care? That is when the child is not yet ready to go in the school. That is, you can say till class 2. You can say that curriculum that is already prepared, and the rest of the 3 curriculums, school education, teacher education and adult education, they are under progress. So they are being developed. The next is, what is the proposed curriculum changes? So the child aged between 3 to 8, that is preschool to class 2, a play-based pedagogical approach using toys, puzzles and manipulatives is suggested. That is, they want to make the education more practical one. Next is middle class. Class 6th, 7th and 8th. Natural as well as social sciences will be introduced. and textbook are going to be the central role in the middle stage. Then class 9th and 10th. So there are 16 courses under 8 varied curriculum areas. These areas are humanities, mathematics, computing, vocational education, physical education, art, social sciences, science and interdisciplinary areas. So the child can choose of the child has to study all these 16 courses under this 8 varied curriculum areas and have to clear 8 papers to obtain the final certification. Now last comes your 11th and 12th. In the 11th and 12th there will be choice based courses. That means the student can opt for anything. For example, he can go for arts, he can go for science, any stream he can take, and the examination will be semester system of examination will be followed, and cumulative grade points will be allocated to the student. Now the next point here is no hard separation among arts, humanities and sciences have been introduced. That is, if any student want to go with a mixed background, they can go with. For example, any student want to take physics and history, he can take physics and history as well. The next is academic year and school education. The NCFSE provides a specific framework suggesting that academic school should be 180 days or 34 weeks across all stages of education. Yani minimum 180 days should be there in an academic year, or 34 weeks should be there in an academic year. Then it calls for a 5.5 week schedule. 5.5, yani 5 days plus half day, with 29 working hours for students, a period of 40 minutes up to class 8th and 50 minutes up to class 9th. So there has been a little tinkering also with respect to your school days. For example, in our times the school was of 6 days. Now it has been changed to 5.5 days. Yani on the 6th Saturday you are going to have a half day. The next is modular board examination will be offered as opposed to the single examination at the end of the year. Pre-draft NCF proposes integration of ancient Indian knowledge system such as 6 Pramans, ways of acquiring knowledge, and Panchoksh system for moral development described in the Taittiriya Upanishad. So what are the 6 Pramans? I just want to tell you about that. This new NCF, it is going to have the elements of our ancient education or knowledge system as well. There are two types of systems. So for example, 6 Parmanas. 6 Parmanas means how you are going to acquire knowledge. For example, acquiring knowledge, it can be from direct pratyaksh. Pratyaksh means that you are able to sense those things. You are able to sense those things. You are able to see this video. So this is pratyaksh. And pratyaksh is 2 parts, Anubhav and Smriti. Anubhav is direct perception. What are you directly perceiving? Smriti is your remembered perception, that you are able to remember it. That is Smriti. Then Anuman. Anuman means drawing inferences, that you are able to infer it out. That is obtaining new conclusion from the observation. Then Upmana. Upmana is analogy and comparison. You are able to compare, you are able to draw analogies. So that is Upmana. Then Arthpati. Arthpati is circumstantial implications. For example, there has been circumstances are given to you and you are able to imply those things. That is Arthpati. Then Anuplabdhi. Anuplabdhi is perception is non-existence and is considered to be a valid form of education. Yani if something is not there, that perception is also right. It is also a valid form of knowledge, that you know that something is not there. That is Anuplabdhi. Then lastly, it is Shabd. Shabd is that individual can only directly know for a fraction of all reality and through direct experience and inferences. And a lot has to be learned from experiences of the other. So that is Shabd. That is, you listen to the words of other and you learn from there. So these are the 6 Pramans. That is the system of acquiring knowledge. Then another one is Panchok system. That is for moral development. So the question can be asked. They can ask question directly upon basis of these terminologies that are given to you. What is the meaning of these terminologies? They can ask question about this also. 6 Parmanas. What are 6 Parmanas? What is its role? Then they can ask question about Panchok system also. What is it for? So it is for moral education. So Panchok system, it has 5 elements: Anandmaya Kosh, then Vigyanmaya Kosh, Manomaya Kosh, and Prananmaya Kosh, and Anandmaya Kosh. So these are the 4 elements of the Panchoksh Vikas system. The next news in front of us is National Credit Framework, NCRF. So it has been released by UGC and it has been prepared by UGC, AICTE, NCVET NCERT, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, and CBSE. That is all the education related institutions, ministries, they have jointly released this NCRF or National Credit Framework. Why we need it? First of all, NEP 2020, it specifically talks about credit system. Then we have to enhance our gross enrollment ratio also. It will also enhance the employability potential of the students. It will also enable lifelong learning, and it will integrate general, vocational and experimental learning. So all these are the benefits of the National Credit Framework System. What is National Credit Framework System? Let's see all about it. It is inclusive, one single meta framework to seamlessly integrate the credits earned through school education, higher education and vocational and skill education. For example, currently, if you know that how we see that how much a person has learned. So we see him as that he is a PhD, or he is a postgraduate, or he is just a graduate. So now if someone has acquired vocational knowledge, then you don't know that he has acquired or not. You don't know, na? If I say that I am a PhD, then you don't know what kind of vocational courses I have done, or I have done anything or not, like that. So in this credit system, you will be given a credit score. So on basis of that credit score, your learning, how much you have learned, that will be reflected in that credit score. So this credit score will be given to all the school education that you have learned. Then higher education, PhD, post-graduation, that will be also included. And if you are learning any vocational or skill education, if you are going for that there will also be some points that will be added to your credit score. So on basis of your credit score, you will be assigned that how much educated or knowledgeable you are. So it will be a better reflection of your education. Next is, it encompasses the qualification framework for higher education, vocational and skill education and school education. Then it has three elements. One is National Higher Education Qualification Framework, National Skill Qualification Framework, National Curriculum Framework, National School Education Qualification Framework. So these are the three parts in this framework for NCF. Now it will make education more holistic by enabling broad-based multidisciplinary education along sciences, social sciences, arts, humanities and sports. It aims to provide skills and enhanced experience to the students regarding various industries to acquire better knowledge and skill set, making them more suitable for the needs of the industries. Now, what are the benefits of NCRF? It will provide flexibility in learning. It will also allow for multidisciplinary skill set. It will allow for enable lifelong learning, holistic development of the personality. It will go for government. It will increase the enrollment. It will allow for more skilled workforce. It will attract more investment across the globe. It will, for industry, it will be provide skilled workforce. It will reduce the inputs in training, both time as well as financial resources that are applied for training part. It will provide for better efficiency of the workforce. It will allow for better innovation possibilities. Then what are the institutions? It is simpler and it provides for simple and uniform credit, more inflow of student institutions from all age groups, and more focus on research and innovation. Now, key highlights of this credit framework. Credit system, it divides education into 8 levels. So 1 to 4 means school education, 4.5 to 8 means higher education, and for vocational education and training, the level 1 to 8 has been provided. Credit earned will be stored in the Academic Bank of Credits, or ABC. What are the different types of credit that can be earned? It can be earned from academic education, vocational education, training or skill program. Then experimental learning is also included here. And relevant experience and proficiency levels, if you have acquired in the industry, that will also be part of this credit system. So you see, you're getting a very holistic reflection of your skill set, of the learning or of the knowledge that you are having. So even the industrial experience has been included in it. Earlier, if we talk about our parents, so they talk about that, are you a postgraduate, are you a PhD, or are you more than that? So no one talks about that. Have you learned anything in the industry? Have you got any practical knowledge? So all these things are covered in this credit system. So it will be more holistic. Then integration of credit earned credits. It aims to integrate the credits earned through school, college, vocational skill education by encompassing NHEQF, NSQF, and NSCQF. We have seen above only. Then there are multiple entry and exit options also available. It enables lifelong learning through multiple entry and exit options as credit transfer mechanism will enable students to enter or exit or re-enter the education system at any point of time during his or her career. Then framework has been built on the strength of existing regulations, guidelines and qualification frameworks as been followed by IITs, IIMs, NITs and other institutions of national importance. Then concept of notional learning hours. It refers to the time that every student needs to attend all classes, appear for the test and submit assignments. A total notional learning hours for school, college, vocational skill set is fixed at 12 hours a year. Then seventh national health accounts estimates for 2019 and 20. So this is the next news, national health accounts for 2019-20. So this has been released by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and NHA steering committee and NHA expert group are responsible for that thing. NHA for India was envisaged in National Health Policy of 2002. So it is envisaged under National Health Policy 2002, and it is based on the framework of the system of health accounts. Now if we talk about the key findings, the total health expenditure as percentage of GDP and per capita. So first of all we are going to talk about the percentage of GDP. So it has declined from 4% to 3.3%. As per capita, it has increased from 3,638 rupees to 4,863 rupees. So it constitutes current and capital expenditure incurred by government and private sources, including external funds. Next is current health expenditure as percentage of total health expenditure. So the current health expenditure has declined to 90.52%. Then government health expenditure. So it has increased from 28.6% to 41.41%. That means government's share has increased. Now government is spending more on the health services. Then out of pocket expenditure, it has declined. So this is also a good news. This is a good news. This is a good news. Government has increased the spending. The out of pocket expenditure has declined from 64.2% to 47.1%. So this is a good news for us. The next is share of social security expenditure on health percentage. It has increased. Social security simply means that government or insurance schemes that are being provided. Then private health insurance expenditure it has also increased. That means that more people are now enrolling in the insurance. Then external donor funding as a percentage of health, it has also increased from 0.3 to 0.5%. Next is system of health accounts. It is the standard for classifying health expenditure according to three axes: consumption, provision and financing. So as the name suggests, it is basically a standard how you classify the health expenditure. Purpose, it is a tool for expendable by individual countries so that they can produce useful data in the monitoring and analysis of the health system. Obviously, I don't think that I need to explain this. Now let's move to next news. State of World Population Report 2023. It has been released by United Nations Population Fund UNFPA. And the name has been given 8 billion lives, infinite possibilities. So this name you should remember that it can be asked in any of the state services or UPSC question. The next is most populous country. India is now going to become the most populous country with a population of 1,428.6 million by mid 2023. So it will replace China, whose current population is 1,425.77 million. Secondly, India will be one of the youngest country with 68% of the people in the age group 15 to 64 years. So this is very important for you. You should know this data. Around 26% of the population, means 1/4 of our population, will be in the age group of 10 to 24 years. Set to raise old age pension. So old age population. Currently 7% of the Indian population is above 65 years. This proportion is set to increase gradually. So you see the dependency ratio in India is very low. That means the most of the population is in the working age group. Now total fertility rate, it is now at 2%, 2.0, which has fallen from 2.2 in 2015-16. That means we are going to control our population also. We have actually been now below the replacement rate. Improved life expectancy. The life expectancy has also increased. For Indian males it is 71 years, and for Indian females it is 74 years. That means female live more than the male. What are the weaknesses in the Indian demographic dividend? First of all, the pressure on the existing resources. The population is high, the resources are less. Then need to strengthen the social infrastructure, health, education. Need to create employment, very much required. Unless the demographic dividend will become demographic curse. Need to address the skill gap, very much required. Now we also need to formulate policies for the aging population, because as the time progresses, our demographic dividend, that is 60%, 68% of the population is going to shift to the aged population. The large workforce to boost development, favors innovation and entrepreneurship. These are the strengths for the Indian demographic dividend. Next is, there is a reduced dependency ratio, as we know. Increased domestic demand, because most of the India is now becoming a middle income country. The most of the middle class India is rising. So we have a high level of domestic demand. Global life expectancy has reached 72.8 years, and by 2050 it will be reached to 77.2 years. Migration is predicted to be the sole driver of population growth in many high income countries. 8 countries, namely Egypt, Ethiopia, India, Nigeria, Pakistan, Philippines, Tanzania, Democratic Republic of Congo, are set to provide more than 50% of the projected global population by 2050. Global Food Policy Report 2023. If IFPRI, it has released this report, so you should remember that who releases the Global Food Policy Report. It is released by International Food Policy Research Institute. The name of the report is Rethinking Food Crisis Responses. So what response we had during the food crisis, we need to rethink about them. Now if you talk about food insecurity, during the COVID-19 pandemic, the food insecurity actually increased. So the time period between 2020 to 2022 year, there was high level of food insecurity due to multiple crises: food, COVID-19 pandemic, climate change, natural disasters, along with civil unrest and political instability. I think you have got the idea. What is political instability? Political instability is Russia-Ukraine war, things like that. With climate change, as many as 72 million more people will be undernourished by 2050. Next, stagnation of global development progress. Global development progress has stagnated and even reversed in some of the regions. Why? Because of the pandemic. Secondly, quality and quantity of available food, it has also been affected. So there has been a stagnation in the global development progress. Then food prices, they have increased. Why? COVID-19 and Russia-Ukraine war, and the time period is 2021-2022. Then women are underrepresented in disaster management. We have seen the disasters that happened in Russia-Ukraine. You can say a man-made disaster is something like that. Then in Turkey, the earthquake that happened. So in these things, we have observed that women are being underrepresented. They are not in the front line. Then displaced populations facing hunger and malnutrition. Around 4/5 of the displaced people in world have experienced acute hunger and malnutrition. Now something about IFPRI. It was established in 1975 and it spread over 70 countries in which it goes for major research. It is consultative group on international agriculture research that is done by IFPRI. CGIAR is a global partnership established in 1971 as a unified international organization engaged in research for food secured future. What is the vision and mission? Making world free of hunger and malnutrition, research based policy solutions for reducing poverty and hunger and malnutrition. Then what is the function of this group? Fostering climate resilient and sustainable food supply, promoting healthy diet and nutrition for all, building inclusive and efficient markets, food industry, transforming agricultural and rural economies and strengthening institutions and governance. So basically all are very general functions. So basically you should know that it is not a part of UN. First of all, it was established in 1971, 1975. CGIAR was established in 1971. Then news in short. First is triple threat report. The report was released by UNICEF, United Nations Child's Fund, and the objective what it has done, it has examined the triple burden of wash related threats faced by children. So it says less than 50% have access to basic water or sanitation services. Within top 20 countries, highest burden of death is attributed to unsafe wash among children under 5. Within top 25% countries facing high risk of climate and environmental hazards in UNICEF's Children's Climate Risk Index. What are the key findings of the report? Globally, 600 million children still lack safety managed drinking water. 1.1 billion lack safely managed sanitation and 689 million lack basic hygiene services. Unsafe wash led to 4 lakh children deaths under the age of 5 each year. Triple burden is heavily concentrated in 10 countries in sub-Saharan Africa. The next is major climate and environmental risk factors for children. Water scarcity, riverine floods, coastal floods, tropical cyclones, vector-borne diseases, heat waves, air pollution, soil and water pollution. Then assessment of the child suspects. National Commission for Protection of the Child Right has issued the guidelines for assessment of the child suspects, and it is in the compliance of the Supreme Court guidelines given in the Baru Chandra Thakur versus Master Bholu 2022 case. So they will help the Juvenile Justice Board to conduct preliminary assessment to determine whether the child should be treated as minor or not in criminal cases which come under heinous offences category of Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Children Act 2015. So this act defines child as a person who has not completed 18 years of age. It was amended in 2015, in which child in the age group of 16 to 18 years could be tried as an adult in case of heinous offences. JJB carries assessment to determine whether to try such a child as an adult or a minor. Then what are the principles followed in implementation of JJ Act? Principle of presumption of innocence. Secondly, principle of participation. Principle of best interest and principle of safety. Presumption means that he will be assumed as innocent from any mala fide or criminal intent up to the age of 18 years. Principle of participation, he has the right to be heard and participate in all the processes that affect his interest. Then all decisions will be based on the best interest of the child and development of full potential of the child. Then principle of safety, will take all measures to ensure child is safe while in contact with the care and protection system. Then principle of non-stigmatizing semantics, no use of adversarial or accusatory words of the process. Principle of right to privacy and confidentiality, protect privacy and confidentiality of the child by all means and throughout the judicial process. Principle of natural justice, adhere to the procedural standards of fairness. The last news is triple test for surrogacy. Karnataka High Court has evolved this triple test. It says that it will allow only altruistic surrogacy and penalizes the commercial surrogacy. The act penalizes it. Now the triple test consists of genetic test, physical test and economy test. Genetic test ensures that genetic test is for the husband to ensure that child is not born with any disorder. Physical test is for the couple to ascertain that their capacity to manage the child. Economy test is that they can protect the future of the child. So these three criteria have been evolved by Karnataka High Court in the Surrogacy Regulation Act 2021. So with this we complete today's session, and we are going to come with the next session tomorrow. That will be your 11th part of the April 2023 video.